Hello everyone. My topic is membrane transport mechanism. Mechanisms of membrane transport. Broadly, transmembrane transport is accomplished by four major mechanisms, namely passive transport, active transport, gradient mediated transport, vesicular transport. The first three processes are selective to some extent, but the last one is mostly a non-selective bulk transfer. Passive transport. Passive transport is the spontaneous energy independent downhill flow of substance in a concentration gradient or electrochemical gradient. The driving force for this transport is provided by a favorable gradient in the chemical potential, and so it does not require an expenditure of cellular energy. Passive transport involves three processes, namely osmosis, passive diffusion, facilitated diffusion. Osmosis. Osmosis is the net movement of water and other solvent molecules from a less concentrated to more concentrated solution through a semi-permeable membrane. Passive diffusion. The spontaneous flow of low molecular weight metabolites in a concentration gradient without energy utilization of the operation of a carrier molecule. Facilitated diffusion. This is a transmembrane transport of metabolites in a concentration gradient with the help of mobile carrier called permease or translocase, but without energy utilization. In other words, it is a carrier mediated energy independent diffusion in a concentration gradient. Osmosis, there is a semi permeable membrane. Passive diffusion, facilitated diffusion. Active transport. Active transport is the energy dependent and carrier mediated uphill flow of metabolites against concentration or electrochemical gradients of osmotic forces. Active transport involves three steps or stages, namely recognition of metabolite by the permease and the subsequent permease metabolite complexing. Second, conformational changes and inward movement of permease metabolite complex. Third one is dissociation of the complex and release of metabolite to the cell interior. Active transport is of two major kinds, primary and secondary. Primary active transport, the movement of solute directly depends upon ATP hydrolysis or electron flow. Secondary active transport, the movement of solute is directly linked to the membrane potential or gradient of a second solute, which is established by a mechanism that requires ATP hydrolysis. Vesicular transport. This is the bulk transport of large molecules and particles across the membrane. The material to be transported first get into a vesicle or pouch of the plasma membrane, which acts as a transporting vehicle. Vesicular transport is of three kinds. They are exocytosis, endocytosis, receptor-mediated endocytosis. Exocytosis. Exocytosis is the expulsion of cellular waste and export of some secretion products in large bulk from the cell to the extracellular medium. Endocytosis. Endocytosis is the taking in of a large amount of useful substances into the cell from the extracellular medium. Endocytosis is of three kinds, namely phagocytosis, pinocytosis, micropinocytosis. Receptor mediated endocytosis. Receptor mediated endocytosis, also called clathrin mediated endocytosis, is a process by which cells absorb metabolites, hormones, proteins, and in some cases viruses by the inward budding of the plasma membrane. Receptor mediated endocytosis. Thank you.